So nasty, and the best company ever got. He's a finisher.
All right. Philly, you got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Quiz, Watkins, Zach Fitzgerald, Jalen Rager. I think that's
another trade, guys. The Jets are on the clock now. Another trade. The Jets traded back into the first round to get who? And who they trade with?
They still haven't got the receiver.
So I'm thinking they traded this 26 overall pick.
Gotta be. They haven't got the receiver yet. Or unless they're trying to get Sky Moore. Depending on where they were. I heard they were eyeing on him. But
so we'll see what happens. There she is. Can you hear me?
This is Next Gen Stats powered by AWS.
Brees Hall, that's the running back.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
That's good company.
I mean, that's crazy.
I can't hear you. Oh my gosh.
Running back, baby.
Why can't I not hear you?
Running back.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. Speak again.
Yeah, I know.
Can you speak? I can't hear you. What's going on here? I don't know what's going on. You're up high. I can't hear you. I don't know why I can't hear you right now. This is weird.
Because he's dynamic with the ball.
Usually I can hear on this, and I now cannot hear you.
He can break tackles.
I like Swift a lot.
Yeah,
This is crazy. Okay.
He's got to say
that's the only thing.
I don't know why I cannot hear you. There it is. Can I hear you? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
He's good for
Let's go. We're in here.
Hey.
We're on my YouTube, by the way.
Oh, hey. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
By the way, this girl, I met her at the bar. I met her parents, and they bragged so much about her knowing her sports, knowing her Detroit.
Which is impressive because they never actually compliment me to my face.
No, really?
Yeah, ever. They never compliment me to my face. So it's impressive that they brag about me.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of, yeah. I mean, when I met them, because, obviously, I'm not from there, but when I met them there at the bar or whatever, they bragged so much about you because when they got to know me and they got to know how much I know about sports, Detroit sports, and I do this, they brought you up, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And they were just saying so much about how you're very feisty, you're very opinionated, and things like that. And I got a glimpse of it.
Deny any of those things.
I got a glimpse of it. I did get a glimpse of that Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit.
And I let you talk. Because you're very opinionated, and I'm very opinionated too as well. But I think that we could really start something and really get this going because there's not a lot of us doing this.
Right. No, I agree.
There's not a lot of us doing this. Okay. So, but how do you like the NFL draft right now? How do you like the Detroit Lions drafting Aiden Hutchinson? It was a shocker.
Okay. Listen, that was the most expected thing in the world.
Okay.
I would have put all of my money on that actual draft pick.
You bet.
That was the most expected thing in the world. The Lions go in and think in their heads, it would be the same thing as anybody drafting. Like, oh, he's from Michigan. He went to Michigan. You know how many ticket sales we get? All those people already have their Hutchinson jerseys made.
Right.
They don't even know what jersey number he's wearing, and he already has that jersey made. It is the most expected thing in the world with them. The only things that I'm really shocked about is I'm a little shocked with the Chris Olave going to the Saints.
I mean,
I get the Michael Thomas connection.
I mean, that's awesome.
A quarterback.
It was great. I mean, Jameis though, like a lot of people hate on Jameis.
Good 4 years ago when he was on the bench.
There you go. A lot of people hate.
That's some bullshit.
You hear these guys?
That's true. Hey, listen, the moment you steal crab legs is the moment that you're done.
Yeah. I mean, he did a little bit more than still crab legs. Let's be real.
I'm sure. I mean, it's the same thing as selling golden pants for some tattoos. So Pick as you will.
Check this out. The Jets pick
Here
is
he
on.
Jermaine Johnson.
The Jermaine Johnson just went to the Jets at 26.
Okay, your TV's faster than mine.
I wanted Jermaine Johnson to go to the Lions, but I can't be too picky. I can't.
I don't mind that pick.
I don't mind it either.
He looks like a villain.
They traded it. The Jets actually traded in to get that, and the Jets had two. You want to put some coke in there for me? What you put in this?
You just don't ask questions. You're just like, okay.
Right. You ask questions. You're right. Great.
Hold on, I see that.
You just say sure and just be done with it. We're good.
Right here.
What's she drinking?
What are you drinking?
I am drinking. Have you ever heard of a Tom Collins?
I have not.
Yeah.
So I'm drinking gin.
Okay.
You're drinking.
Is my go-to. So I ran out of Sprite. I was doing a Sprite and vodka,
Okay.
and then we ran out of vodka. So now we've moved to gin.
All right.
Nice.
So
Nice. But to piggyback on what you were saying with Jameis, right? With Jameis, I don't think his career is over. I think he can be a starting quarterback in this league. Yes, he's had some up and downs, but you don't go from throwing obviously 5,000 yards with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I believe Chris Godwin was a rookie that year, but you don't go throwing 5,000 yards, leading the league in touchdowns, but obviously leading the league in interceptions, and then getting your job taken away by Tom Brady the following year after that, and then you're a complete bust? No,
I think you're a complete bust because it's a completely different dynamic down in the Saints. They're a defensive team.
Well, hold on one second. I don't think you're a complete bust because, hey, now you're in a completely different situation where now you don't have those two guys anymore, and obviously you're not throwing 5,000 yards, but let's be real. Jameis didn't have bad years in Tampa Bay. It's not like he was a complete bum like Baker Mayfield, what he did with –
Right. But look at –
I got you, man. I got you. Check this out. You got to check me, though. I got you. I promise.
I'm just going to keep drinking.
Keep drinking because I'm going to drink when you talk. But you got to understand, you got in this situation with Jameis, you giving him weapons. Obviously, you know that defense was top 10 last year. You got to give Jameis weapons and give him opportunity to be a starting quarterback and improve himself. Okay, so if you put obviously Chris Olave, you got a Michael Thomas who obviously he's in his 30s now, but
Michael Thomas hasn't hit 30 yet, has he?
I believe he did.
I think that just shows our age. Yeah. If Michael Thomas has hit 30,
yeah. But he's an older receiver now, but he's still obviously a Pro Bowl receiver making top dollars. You put receivers around Jameis, and you got that top 10 defense. Hey, there's a reason why when they traded to the 11th pick to get Chris Olave, there's a reason why they did that, and now they're sticking with Jameis Winston.
I think the easiest way for me to dispute that is saying that the Bears traded up two draft picks to get above the 49ers to draft Mitch Trubisky because they were going to be good for their system, and how much of a bust that is. I think the biggest thing is, Jameis Winston was doing fantastic. He was in Tampa Bay. He did a great job. The New Orleans Saints are completely different. They're a completely different kind of beast. They're not an offensive focused team. They don't invest the way on their offense that they do on their defense. It's just a completely different scheme. You have Alvin Kamara that's running the ball. Who they have when he was in Tampa Bay? He was dependent on throwing the ball in Tampa Bay. You don't have that for him down in New Orleans. You have even Alvin Kamara having a down year. I mean, you still have him. He didn't have a terrible year, but you still have. And did Hill end up renewing this year?
Hill is converting to a tight end this year, so he's not going to be the quarterback.
He's been a tight end though.
I know, but he's going to be more so a full-time tight end this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's the other thing too, because it's like the UT Rockets. They do the same thing every year. There's two quarterbacks. You're going to be super shocked on the scheme that we play. What quarterback comes in with what kind of play comes in. The same thing in the red zone when they bring Hill in. Right. How much can that one player with Chris Olave? I think he's going to be a little wasted in New Orleans until they find their actual.
They got
like their actual Drew Brees, their next Drew Brees. They're
Right.
a little wasted down there.
And I'm going to tell you something. You ready for this? Even the New Orleans Saints figured it out when they picked up actually Drew Brees. Drew Brees
Right.
played with the Chargers first.
Yep.
It's no different than Jameis playing with Tampa Bay, and now he's going to a new team,
Right.
new situation, and now he can rejuvenate his career. Okay, and I like
Yeah.
that. Here's the thing: I like that Jameis can run a show because let's say the first 4 games that he played before he got hurt, because then he was out of the season this past year.
Right.
He was playing good football. He really was. I want to say week 1 or week 2, he threw 5 touchdowns in one game. He was playing good football. And I picked him up in fantasy.
Even a blind squirrel can find a nut there, buddy.
Huh?
A blind squirrel can find a nut.
I know. But I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you though, and I'm gonna brag a little bit. I won my championship team. It was stacked with these guys. I beat this guy.
He's insulting you right now. Do you hear him?
That guy over there. I won my fantasy team.
Ask her how many teams should be in a league.
It don't matter. I won.
Ask her.
It don't
4.
matter.
How many teams?
I won.
What's the most amount of teams that should be in a fantasy league?
You need at least 8.
Well, what's
At
the
least
max?
8.
What's the max?
At least 8.
Do you run fantasy?
Well, what's the max?
So I'm in 3 fantasy leagues
3
total.
fantasy leagues. All right.
Yeah.
So how many teams are in those? How many teams are in those?
So the 2 of them I have 12, and then 1 I have 10.
All right. Cool. So I got guys complaining because we had a competitive
14 teams.
league, and we had 14 teams, but 8 people made the playoffs. 8 people made the playoffs. He
All
made
right.
the playoffs. My homeboy didn't. He barely scratched the surface.
I barely.
Yeah,
I missed about 1 game.
Yeah, you barely scratched. You barely scratched. Anywho, and I won the whole thing. I went on a 9-game win streak. I was number 1 the whole time in my division, and I just murdered everybody because I'm a genius.
Sure.
Let's change the subject and we can talk about football.
I honestly, so my fantasy leagues, every time that I've won, it's my one league I'm every other year. So this is the first time in that league I've not made the playoffs because I just did not invest this year. The Bears sucked and I was devastated. I've honestly barely slipped into the playoffs every year that I've won. Barely slipped in where people are angry. And then by the time I hit playoffs, my teams just go off and it's fantastic. Because I'll be honest, Matt Stafford was always my go-to quarterback that I would draft because his garbage yards in the 4th quarter were fantastic. And then this year, I just didn't know what to do with myself because he was not in the shitty Lions team, so didn't know what to do.
So this is what I will do, Amanda. What I will do is this year I'm pretty sure somebody's going to drop from my league, so you got to join.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm completely fine.
Right,
I'm good with being the only girl probably that will destroy all of you. It's embarrassing the first year, but after the first couple, you get used to it.
Okay. Anywho, how do you feel about the Lions trading in to the first round?
That's a good pick.
Devin Lloyd. Oh,
Yeah, hold on.
the Jaguars just drafted Devin Lloyd for the 27th overall pick, for the record. That's a good pickup.
Yeah. I love the super random colleges that they're finding, like the Northern Iowa, Northern Illinois.
Yes, for the offensive tackle.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that they don't focus on the super big teams. I
This
like
draft
that.
has been kind of random.
Right. I love that.
kinda
Because
random.
I'm kind of waiting for an Iowa guy to get drafted. I think Matt Campbell's doing really good things in Iowa, but they have a super good running back that's over
Hold on
there.
one
But they
second.
also have a wonderful offensive line.
Tyler Lindenbaum got drafted like 3 or 4 picks ago.
Okay, so I'm super behind. See, it's what happens. I'm behind now.
And me and you both obviously didn't know that, but but listen, so how do you feel about the Lions trading up in the 12 or excuse me 12 to go deeper in the first round. They traded the 32nd overall pick. So they swapped picks in the first round. They also swapped second round picks. So they went back to 46, and they gave up their 34th pick. And then they gave up their extra third round pick because the Lions had 2 third-round picks.
Right.
Yep, they had 2 third-round picks. So the Lions now only have 1 third-round pick. How do you feel about that?
I don't mind it. They really didn't give up anything. They've invested a little bit in a wide receiver. That is what they need. I kind of feel like they need a little bit better of an offensive line than what they had last year. I think that Goff had a really bad problem with being protected, and I think that the run game isn't going to do much. I mean, think about how many injuries the running backs had this year. Why? And I worry about the protection part of that, where if you have a deep receiver, if you don't have protection on the line to be able to get to them, to be able to go through their full route, I don't think that you're going to really have anything there. Right. So that worries me a little bit, but I mean, what they really give up in order to trade up, to get him. I think that it was a good idea. I think it was a really good idea in theory. I worry a little bit that I think there was better people available, I think is my thing. I think that it's the same thing, but I think that you have to invest much in your offensive line, and there's not really any offensive line players in the first round that I would take. So selling out on a wide receiver is a great idea. Like, it's the best thing that they had at the moment.
Yeah. So what I will say about what happened,
with the dark man, he made business.
And I'm okay with you. I'm okay with you saying that because I'm okay with what they did. They didn't give up much,
right?
And because there was no quarterbacks being taken, and this, by the way, the only quarterback right now taken in the first round is Kenny Pickett.
Dude, right? Smallest hands, small hands.
Yeah,
probably really small socks.
But me personally, I think Kenny can ball. I really do. I think Kenny has a really good, accurate arm. I think that he'll be fine. I think he's the most NFL ready quarterback in this draft. Don't get me wrong. Malik Willis is a project. I think he's a project. So, there's plenty of teams that could have picked him, but I just don't think that they're going to gamble now. Come second round, I think somebody's going to take him, but I don't think right now someone's going to take Malik Willis right now. It's the 28th pick, and we got 2-3 more picks left. So it's a wrap. But going back to the Lions,
right?
We needed wide receiver. I disagree with you with the offensive line. We had offensive line injuries. Luke Ragnow got hurt. Taylor Decker got hurt. Remember that?
Yep.
My only thing about him is that when we didn't have Brad Holmes as the GM, we had Bob Quinn weak ass, and Bob Quinn gave Taylor Decker about $75 million. He can't stay healthy. Then they gave $70 million or $80 million to Luke Ragnow. He made a first-year Pro Bowler his second year.
Mm-hmm.
He can't stay healthy. He's been injured twice now each year. So, and then, by the way, they gave Big V, $50 million. He's never been a starter until he came to the Lions. Never been a starter until he came to the Lions. And they gave him $50 million. And he can't even be a guaranteed starter at the right tackle. He got his spot took by Penei Sewell, and they had to bring him to right guard. So Big V's playing right guard. Penei Sewell played the right guard position while Taylor Decker went to the left guard. So part of the make is he has some injuries, he has some shuffles.
Right.
That doesn't mean that our offensive line was whack.
But at what point, give me a really good example of somebody that's come back from injury that's been the exact same and at top caliber as what they were before injury. That's the problem, especially with the older guys. You know, the moment that they have injury. Now, I will never say that turf toe is an injury. I'm pretty sure that just means that they are just a little emotionally unstable or hurt. That is actually not an injury. Turf toe, like I get it, but like man up. Like that is the worst. I honestly wish that NFL would kind of adapt the NHL rules where they're like lower body injury. Don't tell me what's wrong with them. Just be like lower body injury. We're good. And we're like, great. Because they could have just gotten hit in the nuts and we're fine. And we're just not going to talk about it anymore. Instead, you're like turf toe. And I'm like, oh, princess, you good? Well, what other, like, I mean, you have a solid offensive line, but the moment that an injury happens, especially for those offensive linemen, it's hard for them to be able to come back and be at the exact same full skill that they were at. That's what the big problem is. So you say all these injuries happen. Kyle Long for the Bears is a really great example for that. Yeah. He tore it up the first 2 years and he was injury prone. You know, he was sitting there and eventually he retired early. Like he was probably 32 when he retired, where our offensive linemen should have lasted a lot longer. But the moment injury happens is the moment that those people have a hard time coming back. Right. And I worry about that with the Lions for sure, because injuries happen and we hope that they're not significant. But a lot of those people were multiple week injuries, which they come back too quickly because they're worried about getting their spots replaced. I hate Packers. I hope they draft another quarterback and that Aaron Rodgers.
Hold on, let's see. Let's see. The pick is in. Hold on.
It gotta be a wide receiver.
Judas Priest. I hope this guy. I hope they trade Aaron Rodgers to an XFL team.
Here we go, Amanda.
A receiver that turns out to be great, right? Watch.
Christian Watson. Oh, defensive tackle.
Devontae Watt. Dwight, sorry.
He's a beast.
He's a beast too.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
It is a good pick.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
It is a good pick. Yeah. And Packers defense was coming along big time. Nice.
I was kind of hoping that all of a sudden LeBron entered the draft and we just didn't know about it. Right. Like all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're gonna pick LeBron for a tight end, and we were just like, great, that sounds fine.
They got a second round pick, right?
All right. So
they're gonna draft
right now. Wait, by the way, are you wearing a Lions shirt?
I work for Springfield.
It looked like you was wearing a Lions shirt.
I know. So the Bears don't draft today. So I was talking to my husband and I was like, man, do you remember a year ago when the Bears drafted Justin Fields and I flipped my shit? And I'm like, it's not going to happen today. I literally bought his like t-shirt the first day that it happens. Have you ever heard of Obvious Shirts? A company out of Chicago.
I have not.
They have the best t-shirts. It's called Obvious Shirts, and they are Cubs fans. My husband's a Lions fan. I don't count this at all.
All right, Matt. I see. Go Lions, baby.
Right. So this company called Obvious Shirts, this guy that started it randomly wore a Jake Arrieta is good at baseball t-shirt after he pitched a no-hitter against the Cincinnati Reds.
Okay.
And all these people tried to buy his shirts. So then he started a company and just put like Javier Baez, like Superman wears Javier Baez pajamas. Bring Sammy back, like a ton of different stuff. So I have a shirt that I bought my dad that's like beer tastes better in the bleachers. So they started last year doing Chicago Bears t-shirts and I was super pumped. So the Bears play at Soldier Field and we drafted Justin Fields. So I immediately bought a Soldier Fields t-shirt. Literally, it is dark blue with orange writing that says Soldier Fields on it. And that's it. And I paid like $35 for it, and it was the best t-shirt I ever bought. Like, literally the best t-shirt that I've ever bought. I was so pumped for last year's draft because I was so surprised. I desperately wanted Justin Fields to be drafted. I'm an Ohio State fan. Getting drafted by the Bears was the best ever. Never thought it was going to happen. I could not explain the excitement that came out of me when it actually did. And then we adopted the redheaded stepchild of Andy Dalton. And I was like,
Andy Dalton is now the quarterback for the Redskins.
15.
Did
At
you know
least
that?
with red hair. That's all the positives I have to say about Andy Dalton. He would have been a really great mentor. They should never have mic'd him up last year. He had the worst things to say between him and Nick Foles. It was embarrassing for the Bears organization.
Literally the pick quarter.
I don't know. Like Jerry Jones hates you. I feel like the moment Jerry Jones hates you, you can't really be liked anywhere else.
That's like poison if that happens.
I know. Like
Big
it's just
time.
like such a weird. I don't know. Andy Dalton. I always thought that he would be a good. No quarterback should ever start rookie year in the NFL. It doesn't make any
Right,
sense.
we were talking about that actually.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. So I truly thought that Andy Dalton and Nick Foles, I mean, Super Bowl MVP, would come in, treat Justin Fields like, let me teach you all of the things I know. And they were competitive about their spot, which makes sense. And I respect that. But I mean, he's still a 20-year-old kid. Like you gotta treat him as like he knew what he was drafted to do. They knew what he was drafted to do. We paid you tens of millions of dollars. Like, come on. Like, come on. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what Washington Commanders do because I'm still fully committed to the Washington football team.
I think that's a better name than the Commanders.
Name. The Washington football team. That means you're the OG. Like that means you are the original football team. Why change it?
Oh my god! I got used to the Washington football team.
I loved it. I thought
like it too.
Cleveland baseball team. Why would you change your name?
WTF?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I got used to it. But the Washington Commanders, no different than the Guardians.
No, so dumb. So dumb. Be the Washington football team and the the Cleveland baseball team. Perfect. Like literally, you're not offending anybody, and you're saying that you're the originals. Like we're the baseball team. Oh,
Right.
You're the baseball team.
But I do get though they did have to come up with some sort of mascot. You know, I do get that. So, but
you couldn't just be a football
mascot of the Commanders.
Great. What are you? Because everything they will pick will be offensive. There's nothing nice that they can pick as a commander.
Military mascot, that would be offensive too.
Yep.
My buddy just said.
Oh yeah. I graduated in this area from Anthony Wayne. So we were the Generals. And even the Generals people tell us I work at Springfield. We're called the Devils. Like there's literally just be the Washington football team and just have your logo be a football. Like back in the day of, EA Sports, like 1996. Just
Patriot Pig is in.
Oh.
Cole Strange, Chattanooga. All right, go ahead. I mean, who the hell is that?
The announcers are like, oh.
Plus like 400.
They say he's supposed to go in the third round. I don't know.
This is somebody that they didn't expect to the point where they don't even have a camera at his house.
They don't.
Like they're so shocked that they're actually looking for his Facebook Live right now.
Yeah, they thought that this guy was supposed to be. But I don't know. I mean, they don't have footage of this guy because this guy was supposed to go in the third round. They're saying.
But the Patriots make guys like that all pro.
Wait, Bill Belichick's a mad genius.
He is a genius.
He's a mad genius. We're going to hear about this guy all year. I guarantee it. I guarantee we will hear about this guy all year. Bill Belichick's a mad genius. Mac Jones played against this kid in high school.
Like, man, stop drafting.
That's what it is. Mac Jones played against this kid in high school. I guarantee it. I guarantee Mac Jones played against this kid in high school. I don't think love that's the case. Travis Kelce.
I don't think that's the case, but I will say that you can't bet against the Patriots scouting team. You just can't. Right? They have a tremendous team, so I'm not going to bet against that at all. Kansas City's picking. They're 30th.
Who would you say is the best tight end in the league right now?
Wide receiver.
Not this year. Waller got hurt.
Wide receiver.
Here we go. Hold on.
Well, it has to be a wide receiver to get rid of Tyreek Hill.
Where
Oh,
Kalafis just went to. Wow.
How is your
That's a
TV so
steal.
far ahead of mine?
Yo, Kansas City just got a steal.
Dang.
This guy out of
Big
Purdue,
Ten represent.
George Kalafis or Kalafis, however you say it, he was supposed to be drafted top 10. I don't know what happened, but he was supposed to be projected top 10.
Interesting.
This kid has a motor. A motor.
So whatever. I mean, it's still like
Kyle
not-
Vandenbosch is pretty good, yeah. But for
I'm
him to
impressed
go
with
all-
anybody that plays water polo. Do you see that? He played for the 16 and under Greece team, and he was a goalie for their water polo team.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
That is
Which
impressive.
channel are you watching?
I'm on ABC.
Oh, you're ABC? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're on ESPN and NFL Network.
Which is crazy. You guys are still like you're a solid 15 seconds ahead of me. Solid 15 seconds ahead of me. If
Oh,
nobody else was
also-
paying attention, I would absolutely say I'm a fortune teller and I just know what's happening.
Also, I'm gonna have to put you on Twitter because Twitter gets everything first.
Oh, I know. Trying
Twitter.
really hard to not. Okay, the Cubs lost, so I'm trying really hard to not look at my phone. So I'm upset about the loss. It was against the Braves, and it bothers me. So I'm trying really hard to not watch my phone right now.
Blown up by Green Bay.
Sounds
By Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, this guy was pretty good.
That we could have had.
George Kalafis was pretty good. I'm glad that he got picked in the first round because he almost slipped out of the first round. This is a good pick for out of Purdue. He lit it up. He really did.
Yeah.
He
He
lit
had
it up.
really good games last year against Ohio State. He had a really good game, which was really impressive. I'm waiting for, I think in the second or third round, Big Ten record, like the Big Ten was down this year, but I think a lot of our defensive people will start like randomly going into the draft this year. Just overall, I feel like we weren't insanely strong, but there was no offensive standout
That's true.
outside of quarterback, wide receiver. But I truly think that our defensive people will start coming a little bit.
I think that this is a big time defensive draft.
Absolutely.
said that,
So you're going to see a lot of defense in this draft. You really,
Yeah.
you second, third round, in the meat of the draft. Second, third round, you're going to see a lot of defense.
Right. So I saw this thing. This is the first time I think they said the 17 picks were they did not have a quarterback drafted since 1997.
Are you serious?
Yeah. 1997 was, so what pick was Pickett at? 17, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
So
57.
1997. That was the longest we've not had a quarterback drafted since 1997.
Hit the guy with the ball.
It's looking like Willis isn't going to get drafted in the first round, too.
I don't think so. I don't.
Picks left.
Nobody needs him. That's left.
We got 2 more picks left in the first round,
Right.
and it's looking like Willis ain't.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I don't really. Maybe Minnesota. Like if you want
A lot
him
of
to
people
sit on
also
the bench a little bit.
A lot of people also thought too that Lamar Jackson wasn't going to be a first round pick, and the Ravens traded in the 32nd overall pick
Right.
to get Lamar Jackson. So Bengals pick next. The Bengals pick next. Who picks? The Vikings.
I could see.
The Vikings pick the quarterback.
I told you. I think the Vikings could. I mean, you have Kirk Cousins. I get it, but you have him to mentor a quarterback for 1 or 2 years. I could see that. I could see Tampa Bay trading their draft pick to Carolina. I think that would be a good trade. Getting to them right in the top of the second round. What are they really losing? But what do they really need? I could see Tampa Bay trading out a little bit to get somebody snagged in that first round.
I don't know. Guys, y'all want to do a shot? You want to do a shot? Yeah. Let's go. She's not doing one. She's milking it with whatever
No.
tequila
No.
she's drinking.
Roaring 20.
She's yeah.
I mean, my husband will wholeheartedly do one with me, but no thanks.
Bring him on camera. Have him do one with us.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt,
Where are
they want to do a shot with you. He was that easily convinced. He said, all right. That was literally it. I was like, Matt, they want to do a shot with you. And he was like, all right. That was it.
Awesome. That's awesome. All right. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you think? So, obviously, you know, we got the second round. How do you think the Lions can build moving forward? How do you think the Lions, and you know, I'm Detroit, but you know, I can talk anything. So, it doesn't
I'm
matter.
a Bears
But
fan.
to the Detroit fan base, because, you know, once we end this video, there's going to be a bunch of Detroit people clicking on the live to
Right.
look at the video. And, you know, right now, we're streaming on YouTube.
Right.
You know, for some reason, I couldn't get my Facebook and my Twitter to work. So right now, we're just
Right.
and for some reason too. I love everything that you bring to the table. So we got to keep doing this. We got to keep moving forward with this, because I'm gonna tell you right now,
I love the Saints.
I have a fan base, but moving forward, it could be a bigger fan base.
Yeah.
And I really do think we can build something. Facebook, with this streaming service that I have, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, all at the same time streaming.
Right.
All at the same time. We could do something special.
So hold on one second. My husband's ready for said shot.
Oh, hold on 1 second, bro. Oh, he's got the Red Wings.
So listen, we're a very dedicated Detroit fan base in this household.
Okay.
My husband loves the Lions. I was a dedicated Detroit Pistons fan. Chauncey Billups, top 5 list. Like, you know, your top 5 list, like Chauncey Billups, man, I'd take him for days.
No shit from nobody.
Detroit Red Wings, we watch every single game. Now, this is where we get a little shaky. I watch all the Lions games because I have to.
Right.
I am a Bears fan. I'm a dedicated Cubs fan.
I love the Cubs. You know I love the Cubs.
Love my Cubbies.
Listen,
I will watch the
and
Tigers.
we're about the same age.
Redheaded stepchild.
We're about the same age. So I want you to understand that I was watching the Cubs as a little kid, like 5, 6 years
WGN?
old, on WGN.
Oh yeah, on your little turn dial. TV.
Yeah, and
That's the only reason I became a Cubs fan.
and my
Besides my
dad hooked
dad.
me on. My dad hooked me on. Sammy Sosa was my favorite.
Yep.
Moises Alou was my favorite. Mark Pryor was my favorite. Kerry
Oh,
Wood
hold on,
was
here we
my
go.
favorite.
Cincy, you're gonna get this before me. Hold on. You're getting this one before me.
Jackson Hill, Michigan. Let's go.
Stop.
Jackson Hill, bro.
No, I feel it, but
Not-
I thought Bengals would try to.
Bengals need to Bengals need O-line for sure. But that's a solid pick, because you know,
That is not a solid pick.
they were trying to. Did they pay my man's the all-pro safety that they had on their team? Did they pay him?
On the Bengals?
Yes. Did they pay him?
That is not a solid pick.
They had an all-pro safety on their team. I don't know if they paid him or not, or gave him an extension.
Don't be mad the Buckeyes lost.
I'm not mad. Actually, the Ohio State deserved to lose. First, don't even get me started on that. We're talking about NFL during the Ohio State Michigan game.
You guys
That is a
where's Matt?
that's a stretch pick. Matt,
A stretch?
you need to take your shot. That is a stretch pick.
It's a luxury pick.
Your mother a drink.
He's making my mom a drink right now.
Oh.
We have a bar, you know, the little. Hold on, here he comes. They just picked a Michigan player because they
All right,
suck.
here we go. Come on, Dan.
Tell him I'm
There we
saying.
go. All right, no cheating.
I'm cheersing. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's fucking water. Nobody does
Michigan
shout
still
out the
sucks. Just ask me if this was water. I get that we don't live in Flint, Michigan.
It's
This
it's not water.
What was that?
I'm just saying this is not clear. This
What was that?
You're trying to get rid of shit, aren't you, Dan?
where'd you take a shot of?
I don't know, but my buddy Dan has a complete bar in the back. Like, it's a whole bar. It's literally the ultimate bachelor pad down here.
I'm just proud of you that you didn't say fireball.
Oh, you guys did fireball?
No.
Oh no, it
No,
wasn't
we're
fireball.
adults.
I
We don't do
just texted him-
fireball.
I just texted him cheers.
No, yeah, we're adults. We don't do fireball.
All right, so it was this George Dinkle.
Tabasco infused.
Hold on, no, I didn't see it. Ooh, I haven't heard of that.
I've
Interesting.
not heard of that.
I haven't heard of that either.
I've not heard of that.
Ovaries.
Anywho, so the pick is in for 32.
That we could have had.
Believe
After this pick, I need you to talk to me about what the Lions could do moving forward to better their chances to being a better team in this draft. All right. So after this, we'll talk about it.
So, who's on your screen right now? Like, who's your commentators?
Right here. What?
What?
I hate the Jameis Williams pick. I hate it.
You hate it? Why?
I hate it with every ounce in me.
Is it because he looked depressed and Roger Goodell hugged him long enough to be like, dude,
No,
just
it's
give me one season, I'll get you out of there.
All of this defensive talent that has gone,
Okay.
that we could have had. And there are still good wide receivers
But you
on the
talked about-
board.
But here's my thing. The commentator talked about everything else but the football. You talking about injuries and shit. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to recover from that mentally. Why are you talking as a player? Because I used to play,
Yeah.
and I'm a college head coach.
Okay.
Why the hell are you talking about injuries? Why are you bringing that up?
Hey,
Psychologically,
hey.
I don't want to talk about that.
Hey,
I want to talk about
hey,
moving forward.
hey,
Who was the player that nobody wanted to draft because he was smoking a bong and everybody was worried?
Jamison Williams, when are you able to play? When am I going to see this guy on the field?
Never seen anything like this. You could literally buy
Is it going to be next season?
prove that.
I don't know. Like I don't mind the pick. I truly don't mind the pick.
It
I
has to
worry
work. It's a
it didn't-
gamble.
It didn't look like he wanted to be there. Like he's one of the only people that I've seen get drafted that looked disappointed.
It's because he's still hurt.
I will say this.
Well,
I will
it's
say
because he
this.
got drafted in the Lions.
I think that what if he has an edge right now and he's very grateful that the Lions chose him that early at 12 when a lot of people projected him to be outside of the 20. I think that here's a lot of people, including me, have a different way of being happy and expressing it, but you never know the things that happened to him where he tore his ACL in the national championship game, and him being a top 10, arguably top 5 pick as a wide receiver, where he lit it up in Alabama. What if he's in a certain mind frame right now where, you know what, I'm ready to prove people wrong.
I enjoy the vengeance picks. You know what?
Louis Klein out of Georgia.
He was assistant to 32 to us.
He was, and that's a good pick for.
I like the Mandalorian helmet that I have on my screen.
Louis Klein.
Williams is a luxury pick for a team that can afford to have a pick sit on the bench.
Take that risk.
Yeah,
That's not his fault. I mean,
not us.
My biggest thing with the Lions right now is
unless you can get
they need too much, right? Like they need too much.
Yeah, you traded what 3?
Investing in the wide receiver and investing in an injured wide receiver is the same thing with the awesome offensive line. Your cuts as a wide receiver and blowing out an ACL, not being 100% yet, that's a problem. Like, you know, you have your rookie mini camps coming up here shortly. How are you supposed to prove yourself in that point? You can't start. And this is a person.
I agree with everything.
If it was me personally, I would have struggled knowing that everybody thought I was injured. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like, oh man, they'll get better because they're injured. And I think the expectation there is just a lot different. That I don't enjoy the drafting an injured player.
That was a luxury pick. We are not a luxury team. Like you said, we
What do
have.
you mean? They don't. The Lions don't know that.
No, I would have rather, if you trading up, get one of these defensive players.
When have the Lions ever drafted a defensive player instead of a luxury offensive player?
I mean, but you go Aiden Hutchinson and then trade up to 12 to get a receiver that's not going to probably play half the season.
And all he did was turn it in.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. It's like, but it's such a Lions move.
It was SOL. It's same
It's such a Lions move. Like we used to call it the Browns move, and it's just changed into being a Lions move at this point, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. That's why I don't like it. It was a Lions move.
Yeah. Like it's just it's expected. It could have been worse. Hey, it could have been worse. You guys could have drafted a kicker or a long snapper.
Listen, everybody. So I want you to remember what you just said, and I want you to remember what he said. Because if this pick turns out to be, oh my gosh, if this pick turns out to be
So the Friday
a third round, who's the Rams receiver? If this pick turns out to be a Cooper Kupp pick, and I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. If this pick turns into a Cooper Kupp pick, and this kid is the absolute monster, I'm sorry. Remember what you said. Remember what my buddy Xavier said. I understand what you're saying. Trust me, I do. This pick, you got to understand, going into the draft before he got hurt, before he got hurt, this guy was the clear number one wide receiver to be drafted.
But the key word there is hurt. Yeah, hurt.
Doesn't matter.
Does. In football, it matters.
It does matter.
Okay.
In football, it matters.
All right.
Now you tell me baseball injury, unless it's Tommy John.
Look at the receivers that's in the second round now. You got George Pickens, Christian Watson, Sky Moore.
He's a lot more aggressive about it.
It's an oil.
You hear this, don't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Listen.
You hear it. I don't mind it, but at the same time, like, we have to wait and see what happens. Just like we have to wait and see if Aiden Hutchinson produces. All right,
Absolutely.
We still have to wait and see. We still have to wait and see.
Hutchinson's draft stock went through the roof against Ohio State. The moment that Ohio State-Michigan game happened is the moment his draft stock went through the roof because he played an amazing game. The Ohio State scheme that they were trying to play against Michigan was the most asinine. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was the worst play calling that I've ever seen. Just as bad as Zeke not running the ball in the national championship is the worst thing that I've ever seen. I'm very shocked that the Lions jumped that much. I think that they could have gotten better in free agency and gotten a better defensive or even offensive player than a wide receiver in free agency and paid a lot less.
He's walking up on the stage like.
And then they were like,
We have to wait and see what happens.
Right?
We have to wait and see what happens. I can't, like, every pick that the Lions pick or people in general, it's all of it's a gamble. All of it is you have to wait and see what happens. We know what they can do. We know that Jameson put up numbers. We know that Hutchinson put up numbers. In general, we know that all these athletes in the first round put up numbers. We have to see what happens. I understand that the man was injured. I do. I get it. I get it. But There has been some known injuries from college athletes before they get drafted.
I didn't know that.
And it hasn't necessarily affected their performance. Rather, we've seen success. Okay, so I'm not going to. Here's what I'm going to say. I think the Lions dipped in.
Sell them.
I think the Lions dipped into the best receivers, and when they saw that
Yark.
the trades were low, like they didn't have to give up much.
And
You saw the trades in the first round. The trades in the first round are unheard of. Usually, you're giving up
Right.
the first round pick.
Right.
These teams didn't give up another first round pick. They were giving up third round picks, fourth round picks, fifth round picks. They were giving up those picks.
It's included
The
in
Lions didn't give up a first round pick to move up in the first round.
Yeah, and giving up a third round pick, I mean, it's next to nothing in the NFL draft.
Let me just piggyback what he just said. He goes, "Oh, we gave up 32. We gave up 32 to move up to 12.
Right, and you gave away a third round that wasn't
You get a
yours,
player that's not gonna play.
I hear
and you gave up a third round that wasn't yours.
To get a player that's not
It
gonna
was
play.
yours. It wasn't your original. It wasn't your original. But the big thing that you have to remember though
When
is
he gonna play
you keep
football?
saying that how they translate to the NFL. My perfect example is look at any Ohio State quarterback. They put up numbers in college football. What Ohio State quarterback has ever translated well to the NFL? Honestly, that's the thing. Like we keep talking about the big numbers that they put up and all these big things. It is lightning in a bottle with these draft picks. Look at all the Ohio State quarterbacks. They're good in the scheme of the NCAA. The moment that they go to any kind of professional team, they don't succead. What are you going to Braxton Miller? And he was better at a wide receiver with the Texans than what he actually was with being a quarterback anywhere. Cardell is a fantastic quarterback. I mean, he won us a national championship and he got screwed in the XFL. He's not even playing right now anymore. I mean, Justin Fields is the closest thing and he got destroyed in the NFL last year. I mean, it's a fingers crossed kind of point.
Rookie year for Justin Fields. I think he can grow and develop.
Oh, absolutely. We have no offensive line. He had the shortest amount of time in the pocket for any quarterback in the NFL last year. It's absolutely true.
Well, my beef with the Lions trading up to number 12 to get a player that possibly won't even play this season. He's gonna miss at least half the season.
I don't think he'll miss half the season. I think he'll miss training. But you're taking a gamble. He was before injury. He was the best. He was by far the best wide receiver that was going to be in this draft.
Why not get one of these defensive studs?
How do you know that they're going to pan out?
I'd rather take a player that's going to play day one than a player that's not for sure going to play.
21-year-old defensive player is not going to be a stud against a 32-year-old man that's been there for 7 years.
I'm saying play day one. I'm saying play day one. I need I'm moving up into the 12th pick in the first round to draft a guy that's not gonna play.
A wide receiver is more likely to go off their rookie season than a defensive player.
If they're on the field, yeah.
Absolutely. Because they are more likely, they're better in shape, they are better. He is going to have so many resources available to him for his ACL.
Okay,
But don't tell me a 21-year-old defensive player is not possible because I got two words for you: Micah Parsons.
No. I'm not saying that they're not better. I'm saying physically, a 21-year-old player is tiny compared to a grown man. These 19, 20-year-olds that are going into not 19, 20, 21-year-olds that are going into the draft, they're going against these grown men. They are not going to have as big of an impact as what a 21-year-old wide receiver would.
But where's the impact going to come? When? What week?
Even if but listen, I would rather pick somebody first round of a draft and have them be an all-star year 2 and forever on than year 1.
But the guy we drafted, year 2 might be his rookie year.
Right, which is fine. What about these quarterbacks that you draft year 1?
See, but this is what I'm saying. The Lions, that was a luxury pick. We traded up to 12 to take a luxury pick, and the Lions aren't an organization to take luxury picks. We're building. We need players to play on the field now.
I disagree. How else are you supposed to build?
And then now the receivers that are sitting in the second round now, you got George Pickens, a 6'3", running a 4.4, 40-inch vertical out of Georgia. Georgia just had 5 first-round picks. You got Christian Watson, another 6'4" receiver with a 40-plus vertical, running a 4.3. So you're going to tell me that Jameson Williams is head and shoulders over both of those guys that we could have waited to get?
Here's the thing. I would rather have I draft somebody in the first round. I'm not thinking of now. I'm thinking long term. My first round draft pick. If people were so worried about right now, do you know the leading scorer in Bears history? Do you know who it is?
The leading scorer
in Bears history. Do you know who that is?
If I could find my,
I'll take a guess.
Okay.
Okay. Give. I don't know.
Robbie Gould.
Robbie Gould.
Our kicker that got cut because don't even get me started on the coach at the time, and that is now playing for San Francisco, is the leading scorer in Bears history.
I didn't know that.
Leading scorer in Bears history. He hasn't been playing for us for a few years. I will also say,
it's not Walter Payton.
No, Robbie Gould. I will even say the double doink that happened. Robbie Gould was also in the stands with his kids watching it happen against Philadelphia. But
were they injured when they got picked?
Organization, I would rather pick long term, have a Robbie Gould kind of player that's going to be a long term, 12 years kind of player than somebody like, even if he doesn't play his rookie year, that's fine. I'm investing in him. I'm investing in his future. I need you to be the best player at the time, even if it's for the last 6 games of the season. Hopefully the last 6 games are getting me into the playoffs. That's when I need you. That's what I need you to turn it up. That's what I need you to be your best. If you don't play the first couple of weeks, who cares? I need you to be good for 12 years. You're a first-round draft pick. I'm paying you money. Do your job.
I understand what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. But to move up that high.
We've moved up for Mitch Trubisky. You got nothing on me, bud.
No. I'm talking about with the Lions with James Williams.
Right.
To move up, to give away 32, 34, 66 for a receiver that's not going to touch the field until maybe Thanksgiving game.
He's going to touch the field the moment it's important.
But then once he touched the field, now he's getting reacclimated.
You're talking like he's not going to play with the first string people.
No. I'm not talking about like first string. I'm talking about the amount of time that's going to be on the field. Like it's a luxury pick. If you're a team like Cincinnati or one of these top teams that's making the playoffs consecutively, you can make a pick like that. You can afford a pick like that. We're struggling to even make it to that point.
But at what point do you need to make that push into being that team?
But you don't. But
honestly, with Devontae Adams leaving the NFC North.
But when you have a need for receiver, you don't go out and draft a receiver that's not going to play.
I think you invest in your future.
So invest in the future with a guy that's going to play game one, day one.
That's not investing in your future. That's investing in, like, if he is the best available person that eventually will be your best receiver.
I don't believe at 12 he was the best player available at 12.
That's different. That's different. He's not the best player available. He was the best receiver available.
I doubt that at 12.
Who do you think was better?
I'll say Christian Watson, George Pickens.
No.
The
height and the experience will supersede
Dotson. Dotson from Penn State. I would. I would have rather him.
Penn State can blow smoke.
By the time Williams is healthy, the line's are relevant, we have our quarterback, and we're in a position where we're investing in our future, like you said, and we're going to be competitive, he's going to be gone. Because he's going to it's going to be time for his contract to be renewed. And if you saw him in his interview, and he's like, they're like, how do you feel about your draft and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I'll speak on that later. And he had a piss poor disposition.
He was not happy about being drafted by the Lions.
Oh,
He was ticked about being drafted by Lions. I agree.
He's already looking to his contract year. Where is he going to go?
Right. No, I don't get that. And I think though that a big part of being like the NFC North is a hard division, even though it doesn't look like it. We always, because we have always like we're such a rivalry, like we're so competitive against each other. It's such a hard division to play at Soldier Field, to play up in Lambeau. Ford Field, Lions fans travel very well, just like Bears fans do. I think that is such a hard division to play in. You know, playing up in Minnesota, playing in the weather, playing on turf versus, you know, natural grass. It's such a completely different beast. The NFC North is always such a different division than what we have in other places. That's the thing. And Devontae Adams not being there for Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, I absolutely despise. If he was the Bears quarterback, he'd be the best person on the planet. I think he is the best quarterback. The Bears quarterback. Whoa. Hold on. Only if he was a Bears quarterback would he be the best quarterback. Okay. Being in Green Bay is a piece of shit because I fucking hate Green Bay. But I truly think that we're one of the hardest divisions to play into and to get used to. So for the Lions, having one or two of these different players is literally being the third place of the division or the first place of the division. You go 500 in the division, and I consider that a win on the season.
You hear that?
Oh, okay. I see.
You going 500?
The Lions?
Yeah, the Lions go.
You're not beating the Bears in Chicago this year.
What?
I will not.
Get out of here! You're talking like a Bears fan. You're just trying
I'm a Bears fan.
I know.
Not beat the Bears in Chicago this year. No amount of money will ever make me change that.
I was just at the bar with you Tuesday, and you said that the Bears is going to fucking lose.
Well, no. I said no. I said the Bears were going to have a losing season.
What's that mean?
I didn't say that the Lions were going to beat us on our home turf.
The Lions don't tap that ass. Stop. Don't do that.
Listen, the moment, listen. The Lions are adorable when they need to be. They are building a solid foundation. They're building a solid foundation. They're not there. I think that Minnesota is going to end up probably last in the division this year. I'm not impressed with anything.
Stop.
I love Adam Thielen.
Stop it. Stop. Hell no. You just said the Minnesota Vikings is going to be the last in the division when the Bears are worse. Stop it. The Bears are horrible. I'm sorry, but it's either the Lions or the Bears that's going to be the bottom in the total. No, stop it. No. Stop. Hell no. The Vikings.
I understand that you're pretty.
Vikings are going to compete.
I get you're pretty. Listen, hold on. I understand that you're pretty.
I know I'm pretty. The Vikings are going to compete with the Packers.
For who? With what? Listen, Adam Thielen is the best person on that team.
You are Justin. Have you not seen Justin Jefferson?
I know Justin Jefferson. I understand. They double team Justin Jefferson every single time, and you leave Adam Thielen man on man. He's going to beat you every time.
Can't stay healthy. Do you watch football?
Apparently never.
You watch amazing football. I know you do. Stop talking blasphemy right now. Stop
Adam Thielen. I am telling you, Justin Jefferson is better, hands down. I am telling you that Adam Thielen will have better stats at the end of the year than Justin Jefferson. They will double team Justin Jefferson for days, and you're going to have Adam Thielen one-on-one.
Make a bet.
And look at who Kirk Cousins throws to all the time.
Justin Jefferson now.
No, absolutely Adam Thielen.
No, it's about 50-50.
No, it is 100% Adam Thielen. He is the man that you throw to I get Justin Jefferson's good. He was also a rookie. He is young and inexperienced compared to Adam Thielen.
Amanda.
But he's the future.
Amanda.
He is absolutely the future. He's
Amanda.
also going to be double
And
teamed.
he's the present.
He's the most athletic. He's
Amanda.
most athletic.
Amanda. I have to tell you something.
You don't tell me I'm wrong.
Okay, I'll tell you.
No.
That
Don't cut me off.
Jamison Williams pick was garbage.
Don't cut me off. Don't cut me off. Get out of here. Listen, I gotta tell you something. All right. Thielen was hurt. Thielen has been hurt. He cannot stay healthy. He's now an older receiver. It's catching up to him. Everybody's body's different. His body's breaking down. Okay. Kirk Cousins even said that he has to get the ball more to Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson also said, and I follow this because I have plenty of Vikings. One of my best friends is a Vikings fan. Justin Jefferson even said that he doesn't want to get rid of Kirk Cousins because the ball's coming to him at a volume rate. All right. So the way that everything's going right now, Justin Jefferson is the number one receiver in Minnesota. You got to trust me.
Can I ask you a question?
Is the number one receiver in
Can I ask
Minnesota,
you a question?
not Thielen.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever coached football before?
Have I ever what?
Coached football.
5 weeks, 6 weeks. He ain't start.
I've trained skills.
Okay, great. So if I were to tell you this kid, Justin Jefferson, the best player on the team, their quarterback keeps talking about, he's good. You got to keep throwing him the ball. He's got to get the ball in that guy's hands a lot more, right? Just like what you're saying.
I mean, but before
what would you do as a defensive coach?
It's just.
Would you double team Justin Jefferson because he's a baller? He's too good. The quarterback's throwing to him, whenever they need a bailout, whenever they need whatever. And then you have a secondary receiver, might be a little older, might be a little slower, just as good. Better hands. I will say Adam Thielen has better hands than Justin Jefferson. I will say for days that he has better hands. Who's going to have more yards and catches at the end of the year? It's going to be Adam Thielen. As a quarterback, I will never throw into double coverage. When I have somebody with better hands being a single one-on-one, again, might not be outrunning the safeties or corners, but he's going to be the person that will end up with more catches. That's why tight ends always have a lot more catches. It's their bailout. Minnesota, I mean, you have Mason Rudolph, I think, is their tight end. He's also really good. But again,
it wasn't
who are you double teaming at that point?
I can answer your question.
I'm excited.
Are you ready?
I am.
So for a guy like me who knows football and who knows football schemes,
Right.
if you're double teaming Justin Jefferson, you have to understand this. When you do a double team, there's several ways you can do double team.
Right.
You can do double team on two corners on one receiver. You can do double team on a safety in a corner on wide receiver. You can do a double team on cover two.
Right.
The linebacker in. All right. There's several ways you can do it. All right. But when you do that, you take a risk on obviously either a Thielen being on single man coverage because someone's going to be open or someone's going to have single coverage. That's the reality.
Right.
Either the running back's going to be open because now you don't have a running back. You don't have a linebacker to chase a running back in the outfield.
Right.
He catches the ball. Obviously, you know who has the ball. So either a cornerback or a linebacker is now trying to get him. But when it comes to coverage and single man assignments and double teams, either somebody's going to be open or somebody's going to have a one-man assignment. There's only a couple people that has been very, 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 very successful to dominate double teams and triple teams.
Agreed.
and that's been Calvin Johnson.
I was gonna say that was my number one. Honestly, like my number one person that I think of is Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson, Terrell Owens has done it. Michael Irvin has done it. Great receivers, Troy Brown, whatever. They've done it.
Done what?
They've conquered double teams. They've conquered triple teams.
Who's gonna conquer that?
You're
Anywho,
always gonna have
someone
dump
trying to
pass available, right?
Anywho, the point I'm trying to make is this. The point I'm trying to make is that it's extremely hard to do that when you have other talented players on the field and you also have a quarterback who can throw the ball. Okay? They were double teaming Calvin because Matthew Stafford was in his rookie contract. He only threw it to Calvin Johnson.
It was the only option.
So I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say that rarely that it happens anymore because if you have a talented quarterback like Kirk Cousins, he's talented, and you have other wide receivers who can produce, you're not double teaming like that anymore. So he may get schemed. It may look like a double team, but he's not going to get double teamed all the time. So that's why Justin Jefferson, if you look at his stats, he had 13, 14 yards of receptions this year. He had a monster.
Oh, I drafted him on my fantasy team. I think he's a wonder. I think he's a solid
He did you
fourth
well.
quarter down by 4. You're in the red zone. Who are you throwing to? Seriously. You throwing to the inexperienced kid?
Who?
I'm asking you. You throw it if you are down by 4, less than a minute left. You're in the red zone. You have Adam Thielen, Rudolph, and you have Justin Jefferson. Who are you throwing to?
Justin Jefferson doesn't play inexperienced. Justin Jefferson can get that.
4
I'm
days
sorry.
of Adam Thielen. You throw it into the hands of the experienced that have been there before. Justin Jefferson is not maybe in 2 or 3 years, Adam Thielen is the person to throw it to now.
I got a question for you, Amanda.
Yeah.
You ever struggle getting a job that you didn't get because of experience?
Have I?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all have.
Absolutely.
We all have. We've all struggled getting a
Which
job.
makes you try harder,
We all struggle getting a job
right?
that we didn't have experience in. But
Nobody has experience in their first job, so
But we knew we were qualified because guess what? We knew that once we got the job, they were going to train us anyway. They're going to train us to do the job
you have
anyway.
very high confidence in whatever job you've applied for that I haven't.
Huh?
I agree to an extent.
Right.
Who do you learn the best from in a job?
Your boss.
Your boss and the people that have been in your position for years.
There's
That's who you learn the best
But
from.
what if, and times have changed, what if you know what you're doing, but you have no experience?
I don't think anybody coming from college football immediately going to the NFL knows exactly what they're doing 100% of the time.
Stop it. Stop
That's
it.
insulting. That's insulting to every single NFL player. To say that these kids are coming in young and inexperienced and be in the NFL and being like, listen, even though you've been here for 8 years, I'm going to tell you how to do your job. I
Times
never
have
got
changed,
somebody came into
Amanda.
my job and was like, let me
Amanda.
tell you how to do your job. It would
Amanda,
not go well.
times have changed. You got guys like Micah Parsons making his Pro Bowler, making his rookie year now. I'm sorry. Kyle Vander Ish on the Cowboys even made his rookie year.
I'm not saying that people don't deserve the Pro Bowl. I'm
They were
saying
starters.
it's fine being a starter, but also who do you play throughout the year? You playing some of the easiest divisions with some of these, like the difference there. You cannot tell me that these 21 and 22-year-olds coming in to the NFL can walk in and say, I know more than you. I'm better than you. That's success.
But if they're the right player, the best talent plays. That's the
Agreed.
beauty of it.
The
You
best
don't have to
the
be
best
most
talent should
experienced.
always play. But what I'm
You don't
saying
have to-
is,
Amanda, coming from a college coach, you
Okay.
don't have to be the best talented player. I got to understand, as a college coach, if there's a freshman, and you got to hear me out, if there's a freshman that's better than a senior,
Oh, agreed. Look at Ohio State. They do it for days.
it's no different than the NFL than NBA, where you can get a rookie that can dominate. I'm sorry, but it happens.
It happens, but it's lightning. It happens. It absolutely happens. But you have a rookie coming in, and you're just automatically thinking that they're going to be starting and better than every other person in that position. The chances of that happening are very slim.
It's the National Football League. It's a greater chance of happening if you're drafted in the first round, second round. I'm sorry.
I would love to know the stats of how many people from last year first round
We're starters.
aren't starters now.
Oh, all of them. Stop it. All of them. Look it up. All of them.
No way.
Yes.
Justin Fields is barely a starter.
We're talking about.
Or even look at when Mitch Trubisky got drafted. What
Most of
happened?
them. Most
What
of them.
happened?
Okay, but I can still name all the other guys that came into their positions and they started. Obviously, and you talked about this, man. And me and you talked about this. Me and you talked
Right.
about how quarterback. We think that if you are being drafted as a quarterback, you need to sit like Aaron Rodgers did. You need to sit
Right?
some of these
Best
other
case scenario.
quarterbacks to learn. We get that. Okay, outside of the quarterback position, if you're an athlete and you can dominate at your position, I'm sorry, but if you're playing defensive end, linebacker, safety, running back, any of these roles, and you're coming in your team being drafted in the first round, and your team obviously is struggling, and that's why they're drafting you, you're going to start. I'm sorry. Listen, Saquon Barkley, starting. Alvin Kamara, starting. I can keep going. All of these.
Well, you're naming running backs. You're naming Zeke. You're naming your top 10 people. You're naming top 10 people. What about your 25th,
drafted number 4?
25th,
Now,
26th,
he's a Pro
28th
Bowler.
round draft picks?
He's got paid $100 million. He's starting. Listen, these guys are starting now.
Which they deserve to start because they're athletic. I'm just saying, how much better would players be if they weren't thrown in immediately? To get just a little, I'm not saying that like sit out your entire first year. I'm saying you play the preseason, you see what's up, but then you kind of start fourth string and earn your way back up to first string. Like getting in the 5th or 6th game of the year and getting that experience under your belt, playing a couple of snaps here or there. How much better would those players be? Think about it. Aaron Rodgers is a perfect example. He learned his entire career under Brett Favre. He comes in and he dominates. It's such a, they're so young. Especially now, they're so young. They're so inexperienced. They want to make money because that's what it is right now, which I don't blame them. I mean, I would do the same thing. I would have a hard time knowing that I should get my degree, but they're going to pay me first round to make all this money. I would go in a heartbeat. But how much longer would people's careers be if they didn't throw you in immediately game one?
Yeah.
And that's where the precedent's set. Let him sit for a couple of days. Let him earn the respect of actually able to start.
Yes and no, Amanda, because times have changed.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be forever changing at the moment.
Times have changed, and it's not the old school way anymore where guys are sitting behind veterans. No, they're passing them. And there's a reason why guys are being drafted or guys are being brought to a team. Clearly, I'm recruiting for my basketball team where, yeah, we've got some veterans, but we got a lot of young guys.
Right.
So a lot of these young guys could start over some of these veterans. And I'm going to leave it at that because, hey, look,
We would go through.
we could talk all day.
We would go through.
And I love
Good.
Brooklyn.
talk all day. But you ready for this? Amanda, I want to also save this for tomorrow. I'm wanting to talk to you again
Here on my ass.
and do this again.
All right.
I don't know if you're free or anything like that. We got each other's numbers.
Yeah.
We can do this. And I've been wanting to, Amanda. The reason why God is real, I'm telling you right now, God is so real because I've been wanting to do this. Me and my buddies been wanting to do this, and I've been wanting to build this.
Yeah.
And God put you in my life. So
I feel like you owe my mom a beer at this point.
oh, your mom's a sweetheart. I love her.
Dude, she's the best. Dad sucks a little bit. Mom's fantastic.
Dad is okay. I like Dad.
Honestly, he actually brought me lunch to work today for a bunch of people, and I was laughing. They're like, "I didn't know your dad was a Cubs fan." I'm like, "Yeah, don't you like? I'm a Cubs fan because I was like seek his approval. Like, obviously, that's why I'm a Cubs fan. I'm so confused. What do you guys think?"
Listen, there's a reason for everything, and there's a reason why I met Mom, and there's a reason why I met Dad, and now there's a reason why I met you. Okay, and it's up to them. They got kids. They're not coming. Anyway.
Right, I do. I'm not gonna lie. My kid has soccer practice from 6 to 7 tomorrow because she's 5 and has soccer practice from 6 to 7.
We can do it after the draft starts 7 tomorrow. But
Yeah.
we can still when you come home, we're
Right,
good.
bedtime.
We're good.
Go to bed, kids.
Yep. So listen, we're doing a shot and we're ending this.
All right.
Hold on. We're doing this. And we're ending this. Okay.
Yep.
But, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, gentlemen.
Jamison Williams pick sucks.
I honestly, as a Bears fan, I hope you're right.
Listen, we're doing this and we're going to stream, and I'm gonna fix this, and we're gonna stream YouTube,
Yeah.
Twitter, we're gonna stream Twitter, we're gonna stream Facebook, and we're gonna stream Twitch. We're gonna do all
right,
and like I said, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it big. I appreciate you so much, Amanda. I really do. And I appreciate your husband, Matt, for taking care of the kids and holding it down. Holding it
they were
down.
better a long time ago. We're those strict parents over here.
Hey, I love it because I love going to church. I need to find another church home next year. Hey, let's do this tomorrow.
Yeah, text me tomorrow.
I will, and we have so much to talk about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Can't wait for the baseball talk though.
Oh, let's do it.
Not gonna lie.
I need to update some of my baseball because I have taken a slack back with being so more focused on basketball now that I'm a coach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been big time basketball focused, but obviously we can equal each other out, and you
Right.
can take me, and we can balance each other. We can feed off each other.
Right. No, absolutely. Just text me tomorrow.
We'll do.
All right. See ya.
See ya.